Hey everyone, Lynn Fairchild Hawks here with some tips on how to successfully get people to your second chapter. I think a lot, especially with the 3 works of fiction I've published, how do you get people from chapter 1 to chapter 2 successfully? Agents who are reading it, editors, or just even your beta readers as you're trying to get your book, move that ball down the field. So I came up with 6 things to look for in your chapter 1. And also, if you want to give yourself some homework right off the bat, pick up your favorite novel and apply this test to the first chapter. And if you are a short story author, maybe the first page. It's really something that is hard to do and balance, but once you have the formula in your head, you can start going check, check, check through the first chapter to make sure, after you've gotten all the heart and soul out on the page, is this really doing what it needs to do to get the reader to want to keep reading? And that's what we deal with today. You don't have 2-3 chapters to burn to get people into your story. And I learned the hard way with this book. How Wendy Redbird Dancing Survived the Dark Ages of Not. Published in 2013. It took me, oh my gosh, how many drafts and just tons of time and heartache to finally listen to what a lot of the books were telling me. And by the way, I can't recommend enough 2 guides for story writing. One is Save the Cat, many of you might know about that, and the other one is the Story Engines model. Both of these models, plus all the great YA that I've been reading and just great fiction in general, use the codes of these 6 things for success. So let's start with them. Let's get right into it. The first thing is, as you read strategically and check that chapter of yours, desire, is it there? And I said, why not red? Mark every bit of desire that your protagonist is showing. That is the passion, the drive, what they care most about in the world, their reason for being. Now, they don't have to be the gushy type. They don't need to be spilling their guts, emotional guts on every page, but you've got to be able to pinpoint and use red, if you like, to go find that. Is there something that this person wants that is clearly expressed by the end of chapter 1? So look for that. Number 2, look for something wrong. I've been listening to some Karen Carpenter lately, and she's talking about feeling blue, talking to myself and feeling old, all that song. And the blue color representing that something is not right. In Save the Cat, they talk about 6 things wrong for your protagonist. And you could shove all those 6 things in the first chapter, but that might be overload. Just pick a couple things that aren't going right for your character so that the world that they're currently in, which is about to transform, is about to, have that problem fixed or righted. And that's what you, the master storyteller, are going to do for them. So something is wrong, look for blue. Then the world before, I decided to pick yellow for this because you are shining the golden light, the sun of your author pen on all the things that they live in, this world before it transforms. And you need to give enough hint of the setting so we really get where they are, the people, the places, the mood. It doesn't have to be tons of paragraphs, a line here, a line there, maybe even a full paragraph of setting description, whether it's physical or emotional in this space. It doesn't have to be every stick of furniture, but definitely try to get the world before it transforms. And of course, the blue, bring back the blue for a second, something is wrong with that world, right? So think about how those 2 work together. And then the next one is an arresting image, and I picked for that pink because fuchsia, favorite color here, but also something that grabs your reader. And think, in terms of movies or TV shows that you love, an opening image that arrests you. It just grabs your heart. Somewhere in the first couple pages, there ought to be some of this fuchsia that you can pinpoint and mark. The next thing is what I call an irresistible voice, or maybe you might call it a powerful lens, depending on how you're crafting voice. But I'm going to choose purple for that because purple is kings and queens, it's royalty. It's also Prince. I love Prince. And in other words, you're the master storyteller. You're the king or queen of your story. So make sure that the protagonist or whoever is the lead character of this chapter that we are following, that lens, that perspective is just so compelling that it rules the story. It's not just anybody's story in Anywhere USA. So bringing us back also to the yellow to think about, hey, we've got a landscape and a setting here that's irresistible, and then we have a voice or a perspective or, a lens on things. So go back and look for the purple and say to yourself, where am I showing that really powerful, irresistible take on things so that the reader wants to keep going, wants to get to know this particular person's view of the world. And finally, there's a lot of talk about catalysts and, that having to happen pretty soon. I say, usually by chapter 3, page 30, in a YA manuscript, it's great to have a big catalyst. They call it game changer in the story engines model. For me, I don't need a catalyst in chapter 1. In fact, there are agents who will tell you, do not throw like the fight with the dragon into chapter 1 unless, you could, but there's no absolutes here. Let's be really clear about that. But if there's too big of a change in the protagonist's former world, remember the one that you just set up with the yellow, you shone a light on their world before? Well, transform it slightly with the first of the dominoes to fall and get it going down, so that all the dominoes later, the bigger catalyst, the fatter domino is about to fall. So think about that. So I've got all our colors here. Now they're not in order anymore. Let's see if I can get them back in order. But it doesn't really matter actually for my little rainbow thing, because what you want to do with this, your homework is, says the teacher, is to go back to your first chapter or to go back to the book you love and see if all these 6 things are at play. And you know what? If they're not, that's okay. It's possible that you could get away without some of them, but I would have to say that desire is paramount. And, something's also got to be wrong, because that relates to stakes, right? What's at stake for your protagonist or whoever is the person we're going to follow? And I say that, that's a larger plot thing, an outline that you've got to figure out. But just in terms of quick tips, especially before you're about to send it to the agent, just remember, okay, are all these things at play? Because in their minds will be a check, check, check. Can I sell this book? Or for you, can I share this book and anybody want to read it? All right. So that's kind of our tough measures for ourselves in order to say, yes, let me hit send. Let me push this out to the world. I'm ready to get feedback, or I'm ready to sell, whatever your goal is. Anyway, hope this helps. If you want more tips, go to lynnhawks.com for tons more blog posts and videos on these very subjects of the writer's life. Take care.